If you've ever stopped mid-rake because a car alarm started whooping from the dogwood, you've already met the neighborhood virtuoso. Here are 15 mind-blowing mockingbird facts that will make you hear every backyard concert in a whole new way. 10. Many-tongued mimic with a mega playlist. The northern mockingbird's name is Mimus polyglottos, many-tongued mimic, and it earns that title. A single male can learn over 200 distinct songs across his life. Finches, wrens, insects, frogs, car alarms, squeaky gates, sprinkler clicks, even the beeping of a crosswalk. One unmated male blasted out 465 songs in 26 minutes. Here's the music theory behind the magic. Mockingbirds are open-ended learners. They keep adding to the catalog year after year, and they arrange it in phrases. Repeat a snippet 2 to 6 times, then pivot to something fresh, like a DJ building momentum. And yes, that outrageous output for a bird that weighs about as much as a few spoonfuls of Sugar Scream's brainpower. Inside that tiny skull, the same song-learning circuits that power canaries and nightingales, the vocal motor pathways and basal ganglia, are firing like a miniature mixing board. 9. Half original and 2 seasonal playlists. Mockingbirds aren't just copy machines. About half of what they sing is original mockingbird material, custom riffs only a mockingbird makes. And they swap entire repertoires between spring and fall. The spring/summer set is high energy and expansive, tuned for romance and territory. The fall/winter set leans into a different vibe, built for owning fruiting shrubs and winter feeding spots. Think A-side and B-side albums. It matters because it shows creative control. This bird composes, curates, and deploys the right set at the right time. Watch a male on a rooftop antenna in April. He'll cycle through a medley of trills, whistles, and squeaks like he's reading the crowd. Come October, the playlist tightens, the volume dips, and the emphasis turns to crisp calls and territorial phrases that carry through cold, dry air. 8. The why behind mimicry is still a mystery. Scientists agree that bigger repertoires impress mates, and females tend to choose males with more songs. She's listening for stamina, memory, and finesse. But the full picture isn't settled. Other birds often ignore the imitations, so the goal probably isn't to trick rivals or neighbors. Mockingbirds also favor sounds close to their own pitch and rhythm. They're not copying everything, just what fits their instrument. City birds fold in sirens and crosswalk beeps. Rural birds might favor katydids and frogs. The jury is still out, and that uncertainty makes every performance a puzzle, equal parts seduction, flex, and neighborhood news. 7. All-night concerts from single males. If a bird keeps you up at 2 in the morning with a non-stop remix, it's probably an unmated male mockingbird. They sing loudly for hours, especially under full moons or near bright streetlights that stretch daytime long past dusk. You'll spot him on a street sign or chimney cap, a silhouette in a pool of light, running through his set like a busker who just found a perfect spotlight. Once he pairs up, the night shows drop off. Priorities shift to nest defense and food runs. So if you're sleepless, you're listening to a bachelor on a mission. Dim the yard lights and the after-hours stage lights go down. 6. They remember your face. In a University of Florida study on a busy campus, nesting mockingbirds recognized a specific person who had approached their nest on previous days. Each day they responded faster and more aggressively to that same individual, even in a crowd of strangers moving at different speeds. Day 1. Alarm calls and a watchful stare. Day 2. Closer swoops. Day 3. A head peck. Switch to a new person and the response reset. That's elite memory for a tiny bird. It matters because it means you should respect their space. They're paying attention to you, not just to people in general. Take a different path around the shrub and the tension dissolves almost instantly. The strangest fact is still coming. 5. Small body, huge bravery. Mockingbirds defend their turf like fearless warriors. They posture first, flash those white wing patches, raise the tail, prance on the lawn, then escalate to dive-bombing cats, dogs, crows, snakes, and even hawks. A red-tailed hawk can outweigh a mockingbird by more than 100 times, and the little daredevil will still strike the hawk's back with its feet, calling for backup as it goes. Mail carriers have received neighborhood alerts thanks to one particularly feisty bird that turned the mailbox into a no-fly zone. When neighboring mockingbirds coordinate, they mob as a team, tag-teaming the intruder in fierce arcs until it gives up. That courage keeps their families alive, and it earns them a reputation you do not forget. 4. The wing flash nobody can fully explain. While hunting on lawns, a mockingbird will pause and snap into a 2-step display. Lift the wings, flash those bold white patches, then fold them and move on. Maybe it startles insects into motion, a flush pursuit tactic that makes hidden grasshoppers twitch and give themselves away. Maybe it signals vigor to rivals or predators. Look how bright I am, I see you. Tests show mixed results in different light and habitats. And here's the twist. Some mockingbird relatives with little or no white patches still do the same move. It's a head-scratcher in plain sight, like a signature dance step we're still trying to decode. 3. Females sing, and the family relay is next level. Unlike most songbirds, females sing too, especially in fall when they claim winter territories. Their songs are often quieter and more territorial, a steady line drawn around a holly or crabapple loaded with fruit. During breeding season, pairs can raise 2 to 4 broods in one summer. The male builds several starter cock nests. The female inspects, chooses, and finishes one with fine lining. Eggs, pale blue speckled with brown, hatch in about 2 weeks. Chicks fledge roughly 2 weeks later, tumbling out with stubby tails and big appetites. Then comes the relay handoff. He feeds fledglings while she incubates the next clutch. If a storm or predator ends a nesting attempt, they're back at it fast. New nest, new start. That relay fuels serious success, turning one backyard season into a whole block of fledglings. 2. Adaptable conquerors moving north. Mockingbirds used to be mostly southern. Now they're settling into the upper Midwest and even parts of southern Canada. Warmer winters help. So do fruiting shrubs like holly, crabapple, pyracantha, and even invasives like multiflora rose and bush honeysuckle that feed them in cold months. Suburban yards and parks create the open, shrubby terrain they love, sunny edges with scattered perches and berry buffets. You'll see one defending a single bush like a monarch guarding a throne, diving at waxwings and robins that dare to land. This matters because it shows how fast wildlife can track human change and climate shifts. Your future backyard might be their next stage, and they'll bring the soundtrack with them. 1. Almost lost to the pet craze and now a cultural legend. In the 19th century, people trapped mockingbirds for the pet trade. A top singer could sell for a huge price. Street vendors in eastern cities and the South filled parlors with cages. Populations crashed in parts of the East. Even Thomas Jefferson kept a favorite named Dick that perched on his shoulder and sang along with his violin. Laws eventually stopped the trade. The Migratory Bird Treaty Act put a firm end to capturing them, and the birds rebounded. Today, the mockingbird is the state bird of 5 states, and a symbol in literature and music, from Audubon's praise to Kill a Mockingbird, from the 19th century hit Listen to the Mockingbird, to the lullaby Hush, Little Baby, and even the spark for the mockingjay. All that history underlines the final point. They're more than a party trick. They're curators, blending original and borrowed material into performances that tell a story about intelligence, grit, and survival. Mockingbirds are composers, defenders, night show performers, and neighborhood geniuses. Next time one takes the stage on a telephone pole, stop and listen. You're hearing a masterpiece built by memory, courage, and culture. Drop your favorite fact in the comments and tell me what wild sound you've heard a mockingbird copy. Subscribe now to never miss unbelievable facts.